Let's start our kids' time together. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. I could hear you from everywhere. So what we've been doing is using this time to talk about our family devotional resource. And last week, we had this great activity where we were encouraging one another, thinking about someone who might need some encouragement and sending a note or a message of some sort. And I know that many of you were doing that because I saw, and I'm sure that was just so great in building people up and encouraging them in this time. Well, and I know a lot of you are doing a lot of things, by the way, and I just want to acknowledge that the ways that people are going out of their way to do things and to love one another. Just a few of the examples. I know some of you are getting supplies for other people who might have a difficult time to do that, whether it's groceries or anything else. Calling each other, specifically checking on each other, not just people you already know, but people around you who you've come into contact with who you maybe didn't even know before now so much. Thanking people for essential. I think it's just good to acknowledge some people are doing jobs, but now they're realizing in healthcare, in essential workers, and part of the supply chain and everything else, people whose work now really is a blessing to the rest of us. And so that's an act of devotion as well. I know some people are making masks for others, which is great. Some people are going out of their way to give and to donate to things like the food bank who are feeling stretched now. And some people are finding creative ways to support local business. I saw a great example of that last night online. So there's so many people doing great things, and that's just a few of them. There's so many more, so that's great. So I want to encourage us to continue doing that today by showing our gratitude towards our healthcare workers. Okay, gratitude towards our healthcare workers. And so this one, our family devotional this week is called Grateful. But to really get into why this is so important, I want to talk about the idea of sacrifice. Okay, so what does it mean to sacrifice for someone else, okay? And the Bible talks about so many examples of wonderful sacrifice. The ultimate example is Jesus, who gives his life for us. And in this week's family devotional resource, that if you're on our live stream page, you click the resources button or blogs on our website, and you'll see it all laid out. The ultimate example, as we are explained, as we are told in Philippians 2, is Jesus. He gives his life for ours, and because of that pattern of sacrificial giving, that's something that we can learn from and bring into our own lives. And so, what is sacrifice? So I had a couple examples. So here's an apple, okay, a simple apple. So this is a very simple, example of sacrifice, okay? So say I'm really hungry, and I haven't eaten in a long time, and I want to eat this, and then a friend of mine comes along, and my friend is really, really hungry. I'm like, you know what? It's more important that they have this, and so I'm going to give my apple to them. And so I'm sacrificing my apple for them because I care about their needs more than my own, okay? Another example from the world of hockey, and I always love to give hockey examples, is when I was playing junior seat hockey for the Gravenhurst Cubs, 45 minutes up the road in Gravenhurst. I remember we were playing this really rough team, and this other guy had done something to this other player, this like gigantic Goliath of a player, and he was going to come after me. And another friend of mine saw this was happening, and he came and got between us. So he came and stopped that guy from attacking. I don't know if he wanted to fight me or punch me or spear me. I don't know. But my friend got in the way. Okay, so he made a sacrifice, his safety for mine. So that's really what it means to be sacrificial. And what I'm suggesting here is something that many of us know, is that our healthcare workers are making sacrifices for us. Maybe it's a sacrifice of their time or their energy. Many of them are working in a situation that they didn't know ahead of time they would be in. Maybe they're sacrificing sleep. Maybe they're sacrificing, their own, family time for us. Maybe they're in a new situation. Maybe they're in a situation where there could be illness, but they're sacrificing their well-being for the rest of us. And so this week's devotional is all about showing our gratitude for our great healthcare workers. And there's really two ways that we envision you can do that. And the first is, like last week, write a note of encouragement, of gratitude to share with people in the healthcare profession, just so that they know and are encouraged by how much this means to us. And so we encourage you to reach out to a hospital or to a care home around you. Now, if you need some help, we have in the devotional resource given the contact person and addresses of the 4 care facilities closest to Westminster, including the hospital. So if you need help, you can contact those ones, send your notes in, and those people will be able to distribute your notes around the care facility or the hospital. The second idea is to make a video of you yourself or with your family. It doesn't have to be long, maybe 15, 30 seconds, expressing your gratitude for the sacrifices that people are making. But instead of sending it to the point people at these care facilities, because we don't want their inboxes to get overloaded with all these massive video files, send them to Kim, and we're going to create a compilation video that we will share with them on everyone's behalf, and they'll be able to share it to people who need some encouragement. And just in case you think, oh, I'm not sure if this is going to make a difference, it does. Okay, so I'm going to put a quote here up on the screen. This is from Kathy Clark, and Kathy is one of our elders here. She also has her Master of Divinity degree. Kathy is also the Director of Safety, Security, and Occupational Health at RVH, and we were talking about this, and this is what she says about the difference it makes. Every day, pandemic or no pandemic, thousands of healthcare workers, like doctors and nurses, personal support workers, and many more, go to work to care for all of us. But now, during this pandemic, they are working harder and longer than ever, facing many challenges. Messages of cheer from families in the community give them so much encouragement and joy. So thank you, Kathy, for sharing that insight with us. Take the time, do this. It's really, really important, especially now. So with that, we're going to sing our kids' song this morning, which is, I've got the Joy, Joy, Joy in my heart. And I love that the version that Jen and Kim picked out, because we're going to be singing along to ourselves in the congregation, but as you listen, you can also hear many of our young people up at the front playing the instruments as we sing this fun song about joy as we move toward the sermon. So let's sing together.